You can watch NFL Daily on Rumble. The winners and losers from Day 3 was filmed live exclusively on Rumble. And if you want more uncensored video content from us here, including the stuff you might have missed moments ago, follow us, rumble.com/NFL Daily. Tom Downey for Chat Sports here. We've got free agency Day 3 winners and losers to break down. Now, we're going to begin with the winners side of things because, yay, positivity, teams spending money. And I want to begin with the two, what I call most active teams. First up, the Indianapolis Colts. In a move that I don't think many saw coming, the Colts, who have been very quiet so far in free agency, well, they made a splashy trade. They sent Rock Ya-Sin, the cornerback, to the Las Vegas Raiders in exchange for Yannick Ngaokue, the edge rusher, who that solidifies instant impact player. They've got Kwity Paye, Yannick Ngaokue as well, and Deo Odenigbo. I think I got all those names close enough to write in the end. That's a good trio, and you'll be able to kick in some of those guys on the interior. Corners now an area of need. I would wager they sign Casey Hayward in the near future. That's my early prediction. Look, Yannick was awesome last year for the Las Vegas Raiders. 10 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, part of a really good pass rushing duo with Max Crosby. We'll spend some more time on the other side of this trade, the Raiders here momentarily. But I want to hear from you guys first. Who is the biggest NFL free agency winner from Day 3? I'm focused in on this list of the moves made today, because otherwise we just kind of end up repeating the same exact stuff, and that's boring for everybody. Who's the biggest winner? Let me know in the comments. Perhaps you're going with the Las Vegas Raiders. As weird as this sounds, I actually kind of like the moves made by both of these organizations, provided the Colts are able to find corner help, which I think they will be able to. Remember, the Raiders got Rock Ya-Sin. There's your other outside corner. That fills a significant need, and I think is a good scheme fit for what they'll be doing moving forward, as you got some overlap there with your coordinator Styles and Gus Bradley. The big splashy move by the Raiders was Chandler Jones on a big-time contract with the Las Vegas Raiders, forming, again, an awesome edge-rushing duo with Max Crosby. Jones, I think, has been one of the most underrated players in the NFL for years. Consistently gets you double-digit sacks. Now, he had a big game in Week 1 last year, then kind of cooled off, but I still believe in Chandler Jones. I think this addition by Las Vegas, after a very, very slow and quiet start to free agency, is exactly what that organization needed. But of the trade, the Yannick Ngaokue trade for Rock Ya-Sin, both elite names, by the way, who won that deal? A straight-up, we're told, player-for-player swap. I'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. C for the Colts, R for the Raiders. If you get that ad here, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. The Jacksonville Jags next up here. Very much up and down free agency overall, and I'll briefly hit on this here. Love their offensive line moves. Love some of their defensive moves. Didn't really get cutting Miles Jack. Did not get their overpay of receivers. But today only, Darius Williams, who I think will be their nickel corner. 3 years, $39 million. The Rams had him last year. He played very well. There was buzz of teams want to trade for Darius Williams. Of course, the Rams said no. They want a title. 3 years, $39 million. That equates to $13 million average per year. That's not that bad for a really good corner. That's bordering on Shaq Griffin money. And they spent a second-round pick last year on Tyson Campbell. That trio of corner, although young and you could maybe argue not the most elite grouping, is still damn good overall. So the Jags, specifically for today, I am a big fan of what they've done with this move. Remember, folks, we're also on YouTube and Rumble, of course. NFL news, rumors, trades, free agency, and oh yeah, this thing called the draft is just around the corner. So if you have not already, hit that big red button and subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv, and on Rumble at rumble.com/NFL Daily. The Baltimore Ravens, they've been active over the last 2 hours, and I love their moves. Of the winners so far today, this is actually my answer. Just make note that I'm cheating by including one guy we'll get to. First up, a reunion. Za'Darius Smith is heading back to the Baltimore Ravens, initially reported as a 4-year, $50 million deal, which is potentially true. That is the up to value. The actual deal right now is 4 years, $35 million, which means there's incentives that are not likely to be earned. That means a low cap hit this upcoming year for Zadarius Smith. The Ravens needed one more edge rusher. Odafe Oweh is going to be, I think, a long-term piece for them, but they've got some injuries at the position. Pernell McPhee's aging. Jalen Ferguson's been a disappointment. Tyus Bowser's coming off injury. He may not be ready for week one. You get a not that bad deal for Zadarius Smith. Now, we'll see if it comes in, if it is 35 or if it ends up being closer to 50. Under $9 million a year for Zadarius Smith, as bad as he was last year because of injury only, that's a good addition by the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe he took just a little bit less to come back home. The move I am cheating with is Morgan Moses, who only $5 million a year for Morgan Moses. That's a really good deal. He's not a franchise right tackle or left tackle by any stretch of the imagination, but he is a high-end starter. And you have Jawan James, you have Ronnie Stanley facing injury uncertainty. Between those three guys, you would assume two of them are going to be able to be healthy, and if you really had to, you could always kick Patrick McCarry out somewhere. Maybe he's a guard option for you. That tackle position for Baltimore is now taken care of, and I would bet you're paying less than $10 million combined for these two players on this year's salary cap. That's winning in free agency. So we'll expand this beyond just day three. But what is your favorite free agency move so far? Is it J.C. Jackson? Is it the ones we've discussed today? Lots of routes you guys can end up going. Probably not Christian Kirk. But let me know in the comments your favorite free agency move so far. Let's talk day three losers, and we're going to go ahead and include the Dallas Cowboys once again on this list. And part of this is the way that things have gone. It has not been smooth sailing for Dallas, and we're dipping back into yesterday's because yesterday matters what happened today. Randy Gregory, the Cowboys get a deal done. It is announced by the agent. It is announced by the Cowboys' own Twitter account. They've re-signed him. And then it falls apart, and they tried to make it work again earlier this morning. It did not happen at all. He's headed to Dallas now. If you had just lost Randy Gregory, it wouldn't have hurt as bad. The way you've lost him is painful. You were allegedly interested in Zadarius Smith, but apparently 4 years, 35 was too expensive for you because this organization does not believe in paying outside players no matter what ends up happening. They'd been linked heavily to Von Miller. Von had interest in the Cowboys, and the latest reports, as we film this right now, is that Von Miller, well, he's going to probably end up back with the LA Rams. Now, could it be too expensive for Dallas? Absolutely. But you allocated $13 million a year for Randy Gregory. Zadarius Smith at his best is better than Randy Gregory, and you didn't want to do that deal? It's kind of concerning from that perspective. The public loss you took for Randy Gregory, and having done nothing today except your Twitter account tweeted out some new wallpapers for you, that's a pretty bad look for an organization. Read the room a little bit better, guys. So let's come to Von Miller then. Where will he sign? What do you guys think? Where does he end up? I think he ends up back with the LA Rams. That has not been officially announced by any of the organizations, but the Rams seem to believe that Vaughn will re-sign with them, and that's great, but it's not looking great for Dallas. Let me know in the comments. All right, the Arizona Cardinals, bit quiet so far. They did bring in Jeff Gladney. I'll mention that. He had been cleared from his domestic violence accusations. The charges were found not guilty, so that's great from that perspective. The issue for Arizona is you lost your best defensive player. No disrespect to guys like Budda Baker, J.J. Watt, etc., but you didn't pay Chandler Jones. He went for $51 million over 3 years. For those of you bad at math, like yours truly, that's $17 million a year. I probably would have done that. And I know you brought back Dennis Gardeck, and you have Devin Kennard, and you had a big play for Marcus Golden, etc. But that is an issue from that perspective for the Arizona Cardinals. So I am concerned about them as we sit at that moment. That's a bit of a red flag. So they got to figure out edge, not to mention the whole Kyler Murray situation. All right, who is your biggest free agency loser from day 3? Is it from Arizona Cardinals, Dallas Cowboys, Marshall's New York Giants? Focus on today only. Let me know in the comment section right now. The New England Patriots are next up here as intern Jack is down bad over that entire situation. You lose J.C. Jackson, and that's old, but again, that's the stage for what's going on today. J.C. Jackson is out of here. 5 years, $82.5 million with the L.A. Chargers. Okay, you lost J.C. Jackson. There are other corners out there. Hey, how bad is your relationship with Stephon Gilmore? You want to go get Casey Hayward? The answer is Terrence Mitchell on a 1-year, $3 million deal. Oh, not to mention you traded away Shaq Mason the other day. What are you doing? That's yesterday, doesn't count. Your move today, your splashy addition, Terrence Mitchell, to be a backup corner for you. You going to ride with Jalen Mills as one of your starting corners on the outside? Yikes, I don't have faith in that whatsoever. They were super active last year. I get not every team's always going to be an active organization, but I don't like what New England's done so far. Folks, if you haven't already, remember to follow us on Rumble. It's rumble.com/NFL Daily. I will make sure that link is in the comment section and the description. We'll keep doing Rumble after hours videos once a week for NFL Daily and maybe get even a little bit more litty than we do during NFL Live on YouTube. So if you haven't already, follow us right now, rumble.com/NFL Daily.